What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. It's been a minute, but we are still alive. We've been doing a lot of stuff on the side, as you guys know. Jacob on the other end is crushing it, doing everything the right way. I'm over here working my ass off trying to get another job, and it's a grind. It's fun. This is what we're going to be talking about, but welcome again to the Medical Sales Unfiltered podcast. Say hello, everybody. What's up, Jacob?
What's up, dude? Hey, everyone. Glad to be back with you guys. And I'm excited. This is what I look forward to on my Monday nights, man, for just like us, just chopping it up, seeing how the week's been for us. And literally the last couple of months, because you've been busy, I've been busy, and it's just fun to like catch up and again, just get back together with the crew.
Have you had COVID? I finally got it and it sucked.
Oh, dude, so the worst part is like we all had to get vaccinated because otherwise you lose your job, right? Like, because you can't get in the hospitals. I literally held out to the last minute because I was like, oh, maybe they're going to overturn it, right, in the hospitals. I literally got COVID the week I was supposed to get my shot. And then I just died. And I'm already a baby when I get sick. Like I tell like all my mom knows, but like my ex and everything, when I would be together with her, I was like, I literally just want to die. So just like give me Gatorade and just leave me alone. But yeah, that's how I am when I got COVID. But yeah, for like 6 days I was out. And then I had it, like I literally got better, and then I had to literally go get the shot again. And then 3 weeks later, it was just the worst.
Dude, I had the shots, the same situation, like for us to continue to do, like it was like a mostly mandated. There was very few people that could get away with not getting it. And
well, it was the healthcare stuff. But like the one thing I want to say about it was, the company wasn't going to fire you, but what happened was the hospitals want to allow you in to go do your job. And then if you're not allowed to do your job, you're now not doing the job duties that you're performed by your company. So then the company is now going to no longer have you because you're not doing the job that they hired you to do because the hospital won't let you in.
Yeah, exactly. There's like always some kind of little loophole that they get to work with, but we don't ever get to say in what's happening. Just like I didn't get to say on the fact that I told my company, like you and I talked about before, we don't need a second sales team. I work in rare disease. You guys are coming out with a prostate drug. I can do it. I can handle both drugs. There are plenty of reps out there that do more than one drug, more than one indication. And no, they decided to hire another team, told us that we were all good, and I should have known it. I saw a recruiter on LinkedIn post, like this was like maybe less than a month ago, and they said, if your company ever tells you like things are fine and like you don't have anything to worry about, update your fucking resume, because at that point, shit is about to hit the fan.
They're already they already got job secure, the higher ups, because they know they're out.
Dude, and so what's wild though is, so they let my entire, just like catching everybody up, they let my entire division go. I'm talking reps that have been with Novartis for over 20 plus years, let go. Managers, same situation, 20 plus years, let go. My manager had been with Novartis, I think it was like 15 plus. Let go. So like the entire division just cut. And I've got a counterpart that almost had 30 years with Novartis, is taking another role because he's almost about to retire. There's no reason for him to take a severance. Like he's got like maybe another year to 2 years of working. And they almost, because he already had vacations, everything lined up, they almost were telling him, oh, for you to take this other role where you have to take 30 days of unpaid vacation because like it's just not going to work out. Like we need you hired on now. And it's like, how are you not bending over backwards for this guy that's giving you 30 years of service? It's unreal.
That's where I go crazy on people, because I hear this every single day. Oh, you work for the top company in the world, like for myself. And they're like, that's safe. I'm like, until they can fire you because it's the recession, you dummies. Like literally just happened. The ASI got half the staff got laid off. They restructured the bonus structure. Like they got screwed. And like, that's where I just laugh, is like, people are so just naive. They're like, it's safe. It's safe till you're fired. And like, you're in sales, for God's sake. And I get so passionate about it because like that guy gave 30 years of his life. You know what his company does? Doesn't give one shit. They're just like, oh, thanks for making us money, Bill. Get out. Oh, you're about to like retire? Kick rocks. Like that's why I always laugh when people like drink the Kool-Aid, as we say it in the medical device
even
world.
In any sales industry. Oh my God.
I'll be honest, man. Like even me, like if my manager's watching this, she knows. Like they all know. Like I'm at the thing, and they're all like sipping the Kool-Aid, and I'm like, what the what is wrong with you guys? Like, are you an idiot? But again, I also come from a world where like I'm with guys who make lots of money that own businesses and know corporate's a bunch of like, it is what it is, I guess is the best way to put it. But like, I learned it the hard way just because my mom worked for her company for 25 years. COVID happened and they were like, yeah, we're going to let you go. And luckily they end up not letting her go. But that's when it hit me when I was like on the fence of like kind of what to do. But that's when it hit me. I'm like, no company literally gives a crap about you. People will say it is, but at the end of the day, especially with these big companies like you and I are in, it's stock. What are we doing to save money? What are we doing to decrease spend and increase profit? That because our stock's got to look good on the stock market. You learn that real fast. So it doesn't matter if you're a top performer, if you've been there for 40 years. When they got to make some cuts, they'll make a cut. And guess what? They don't even look twice. They're not like, oh, sorry, like kick rocks.
Yeah, it's as long as you're upper, like if you're one of the upper management people that's making that decision, it doesn't matter. And that's what baffles me, because it's like you're keeping the same upper management and you're giving them new titles, but they're the ones that couldn't make this work in the first place. So why are you replacing or letting go of an entire organization, but you're not letting go of these other people that couldn't make the right decisions?
I laugh about this all the time, and I'm politics. And again, this is where I just laugh, and people will get really offended, and that's fine. They can do whatever they want. But at the end of the day, you know what really great salespeople normally don't do?
What is that?
Go take management positions.
This is
because they know they can make way more money being in the actual sales than management, right? And like I just say that all the time. Again, I'm not saying that managers that they're not good. I'm not saying that at all. There's amazing managers. There's people who have a lot of sales experience and do it. But it's always just interesting to me. There's people who've like been out of the field for 20 years and they'll give you your experience. But guess what, Bob? 20 years ago, you had fax machines. We don't have that anymore. All right. So like the world's a little different than today.
Yeah, and it's those people too. Like I feel like I literally I want to say I missed out on two opportunities to those lifelong sales rep people because I don't know if I want to be a manager. I don't know if I want to go into maybe strategic account management instead of going the other management route. Like I don't know, and that's what I look for in the organization as well as in my managers to kind of help guide me and listen to the type of person that I am to tell me what best choices are out there, because I don't necessarily know. And having these conversations in the interviews, they're like, so where do you see yourself? I'm like, well, not as a rep for the next, 5 years. So I would love to make the next organization that I'm at have those opportunities. And dude, I'm pretty sure these were smaller companies. Pretty sure I fucking like interviewed myself out of the opportunity, because then you have somebody that's got 20 years of experience. They're a lifelong rep. And they're like, so what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? Should hopefully retire. And I don't know. And it's like, I want that guy. Yeah. That's the person
No, yeah. Well, and then what I was going to just say to your point, because people ask me like, hey, would I be management? I love people. As you guys can tell, that's why I made a podcast. That's why I coach people literally all the time now. Right. So I know I'm good at that. But the conversation to have, because I talked to one of my ladies that I personally know that she's very high up at a top company. And she called me one day and she's like, Jacob, you're never going to believe. She's the one who does all the hiring for a region. And she's like, you're never going to believe. I make so much money now. And she's like, I barely even work. And that's what you find out. The higher up these positions go, the less they work, the more money they make. But again, like that's why I say this. Like when you get into the management, like let's be honest, why do people go into management? Because they don't have to be in the field. They don't have to work a 14-hour day. They can stand behind and do an Excel sheet, and they can look at some emails and deal with some problems, and they have to do some interviews and get on some Zoom calls.
Delegate all of what, the C-suite has depicted down to their director, then their director shits it on them, and then they're like, fuck you guys, I need you to do this for me now.
No, yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. But again, like I want this to be clear. I'm not saying all managers are bad. I'm not like, I don't want it to rip on it, but like that's just something to people who are breaking into the industry. That is something to be aware of. And yeah, like the higher up managers go, and like I've had this talk with a lot of reps. I see a lot of people in high-end positions that never were in even medical device sales, but they came in, now they're running a medical device sales industry as high ends, and they're making decisions that no rep that I ever would make, but they're not from this industry, but they did that in hospitality.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so it's an interesting world is the best I can say about corporate.
Yeah, the MBA at this point and having a really nice Ivy League college that you went to lets you skip all of these lower roles to get into this higher position, and then you didn't even do those lower roles, and you're making decisions off of things that you have no idea about. So it's definitely a double-edged sword. It really sucks.
The thing I will say is like, let's just be real because we're all in corporate. Like that is my advice. You play the game.
Yeah,
They pay your bills. You do the stuff. There's just things you have to do, and that's part of it. It's being an adult, like because guess what? If you don't like it, go do something else. Like that is the world. So again, I always have to check myself on that, right? Like as I'm talking, it's like I can have my opinion at the end of the day, but again, if I don't like it or you don't like something, okay, I can leave
yeah.
too. So I always do have to check myself on that and put that out there.
So last thing on my end is just catching everybody up because of the fact that it's just so difficult right now to find open oncology roles. I'm making a huge push into med tech, and I actually put a poll on my YouTube the other day, and a lot of people actually voted like go the tech route. I'd love to see you go tech, and people were putting on there as well like it'd be cool to see like that you could, I guess, move through different industries and show people that you can do that. And I'm like, all right, fuck it. Like, I'm going to try. Let's see what happens. And to be honest, like, as I dig deeper and I find like these cool little like startup companies that are still within like their Series A funding and stuff like that, it's an
Yeah,
interesting world. And
it's super intriguing,
yeah,
huh?
oh, like the numbers and the pay, the on track earn, like all of it.
Pay, the freedom, the stock options, like I got
Yeah.
you.
So okay. So that's my catching everybody up. How have you been? I want to say it's been about like 2 months since we were last on. So what have you been up to?
Yeah, man. So it's been really good for me. But I don't know. Again, I can't just remember when the last time is, but I end up finishing number 8 in the nation. So I took the lowest performing territory in the nation, and the next year I was number 8 in the nation. So I had success. A lot of fun to be a part of that journey to see everything grow. Since then, I had some time. I took some time off. Like I told you, I lost my buddy. Unfortunately, it's actually his birthday
Oh,
today. So it's like a little celebration. But I lost my buddy about 2 months ago in May. So I took that time off, like we talked about, that, and just did some soul searching, right? And I recorded it. I need to get better at just putting that YouTube video up, but just did some soul searching. I came back, ran my territory. We Our new year starts in May, but we didn't get quota till July. So what do you do during those couple months? You still push and you still do some stuff, but it's like a double edged sword, like you say too. Got quota. They're not messing around this year. I literally doubled my stuff, which again, just to give you guys a thought, if you're listening, when I talk to average industries, they usually do about 12% on a year
yeah,
over
like
year.
even
Maybe
like a hardcore is like a 20. Like oh, we're gonna do a 20% bump.
20%.
Like
Yeah, literally from my last year was 100%, straight up. And then like if you're going off the numbers that I did on overage, it was like 45%. So like just crazy numbers. And then like again, didn't want to give me. I asked for help. They didn't want to give me help. So it's just been again going into that interesting world. Just like yourself, I've been just seeing what else the world has to offer. Again, that's never me saying, but I do always tell my manager, like my manager was like, Jake, are you interviewing with other companies? I said, heck yeah, because I believe wherever you're at, if it's the best option for you and you want to make sure you get the best offer, you should always be interviewing, because if my company's not afraid to lose me, they should actually encourage me to go interview it, because they would be like, you got it good here. You're getting paid great. You have a good opportunity, right? But it's when I start talking to my company, I'm like, oh, it's interesting. This company's paying me. They're offering $70,000 more at plan, just off the top. That's not even with bonus. And they're like, what? And then you start seeing people leave. So it's just interesting, right? So, but again, I'm always as open as I can be with my manager and my team. And so I always am just seeing what happens. Don't want to go too much into details because there's things going on. But yeah, been blessed there, and things are going well, and probably will share experiences here in the future. But I understand what you're looking
bro,
at,
like we've
and what
talked
we
about
just
before,
talked
I'm
about.
pretty sure we've said it on the podcast too. Like when you're in sales, you can love the company that you work for, like absolutely love them. But you got to remember, like my mantra, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about it, is you're a mercenary for hire. Like you don't
Yep.
have to leave, but just knowing your street worth is everything. And don't be afraid to
It's
talk about what you get paid with your colleagues. I hate how people don't want to talk about this. You need to be transparent
Oh,
because if not, the corporations are winning.
I throw my money out all the time because here's the thing. That's why I said, I know, like I straight up said to my manager, I just got an offer today for $70,000 more at Plant. At Plant. That's not, I just hit number 10 or the top 10 in the nation, number 8. I just got a giant bonus check. Throw that extra bonus check on top of that, 70,000 at Plant. I'm now talking 100,000+ a year to do the same time. Right? It's not the same job, but it's a similar job. And the same time, the 24 hours are still in the same day. Right? So that's a conversation to always have. Again, people are going to have their feelings about corporations, commitment, and it is what it is. But like you and I have had this talk, I'm very open about it. Your company loves you till they fire you. Like that's why you have to always take care of yourself. You always have to look out what's best for you. And I literally said this to my manager. I said, if someone offered you $100,000 to do the exact same job and possibly work less and have more resources, you're telling me you're not even going to look at it? And I was like, if you do, you're a liar. And number 2, if you do and you stick to it, you're just a dummy. Like, I don't know what else to say because that's just dumb.
Well,
because why wouldn't you?
Talking about corporations and like they'll cut you whenever. I mean, literally the week I find out that they're going to decide to cut my division is the same week that our numbers finally roll in for our trimester. So it's like at the end of a trimester, it usually takes about like 30 more days before they can finally calculate everything up. So like the same time frame, I find out that I hit 140% to plan. And that same week, they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to let you guys go. So it's like, it doesn't even matter
100%.
how well you did. Like, they don't care. It is a business decision. And that's why you need to make your own business decision.
Well, let me just put this out there. Look at tech. They just fired half their people in tech, and they're on hiring freezes because my buddies in tech got let go, right? We're going into a recession. If you guys haven't watched the news and just opened up your eyes, everybody's literally talking about it. We are in July, the next 6 months. I hope you guys have some money saved or at least have some skills that can offer to people because like this is why I laugh and I say it to everybody in the big companies. My company, you want to know why I didn't get a big raise this year? We got murdered Q4. Do you think they're like, let's keep going? The first thing they're doing is what division's not performing and where can we make cuts? And like I tell people this all the time. Guess what? Everyone knows it's the 80-20 rule, the 20-80 rule, whatever you want to call it. 20%, like if you're a rep, 20% of my accounts do 80% of my business, right? It's no different than actual reps. 20% of the reps, the top 10 reps, beat out the other 50 reps. So guess what? If those are our biggest revenue makers, we don't need the other 30 that just aren't even performing, that suck, right? And that's mean to say, but like just the reality of it. Oh, we like, hey, it's getting pretty thick here. We got to save money and we got to try to save our corporation, all this. Well, and I said this in every industry because we've all seen it. The cow is too fat right now. And over the next the next year or two, you're about to see that stuff start getting trimmed. And like you just experienced it. You're a top rep crushing it. And they're just like, oh, sorry, the whole place is out.
It's insane, dude. Like, I mean, I'm living and breathing it right now, so it's kind of one of those where I'm glad that I got a sweet severance because it's allowing me to really look at these other avenues. But at the same time, I'm kind of forced to. Like, I make a stupid amount of money for what it is that I do, especially as a base salary. And it's hard to find another opportunity that's willing to pay you that same stupid amount of money. Even in tech, like I don't have tech experience. So I'm over here as I'm having my interviews and they ask like, so what is your starting base salary? And I'm like, dude, I can't look like at even working with you guys unless we're looking at something between 150 to 180. Like I'll take a pay cut if I have to, but I would like you guys to be at that higher range. And some of them have been like, man, we can't start you at that. And I'm like, then we have to stop the conversation today. And one of them actually came back and was like, okay, we want to, we're going to see what we can do. Let's take this to the next round. I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm in because I don't have the experience. And I have to play that game because you know what you're worth. You can sometimes take like a bit of a pay cut, but if you can't, don't do it.
100%, man. And that's a great point I want to touch on too. Like even for myself, once you get to a point, like you've had success and you've crushed it. And even like myself, like I told my manager, like literally in our meeting that we were at in Texas the last Thursday. During my meeting, while we were sitting there, my LinkedIn blew up. I got 3 opportunities on LinkedIn for recruiters reaching out to me. Like literally just saying, hey, we got this opportunity. Would you be interested? And like, you get to a privileged point. Like you said, you said it. So I'm going to say it too. I tell people, I'm like, hey, if it's not above 185 to 200, I'm not interested. Right. And that's a very, like, I just say this, that's a very first world spoiled area to be. But like, you also, like we talked about, you know your worth, because guess what? I'm not going to make a lateral move. Like, that's just what the app plan guarantee is going to be. And then we're talking bonus, right? Then we can look at other things, because I'm not going to go do something that I have to learn, move, make relationships, all that for, I can stay here and not have to work half as hard. And because I already, the last 2 years have worked that hard to get the relationships. And so that's a conversation I just want to bring up to people that are looking in. Like we talked about, the hardest part is breaking in. But once you break in, guess what? People start reaching out. You have the opportunities, but you also have to know your value. And like, you know this too. You're cool with maybe taking a little longer, because you're going to go get one that actually values you and going to pay you at least what you're wanting, compared to, I meet people all the time. They're like, oh my God, I don't have anything. And usually at that point is because people are done with their money and they didn't save and they don't have like a little nest egg, and that they have to do something, compared to when you, like, you're chilling. Like, you're not.
And it's a big difference too.
Rushing.
Like, I'm not running away from an opportunity. Like, I'm not running away from a job, you know? So like, sometimes people make those drastic, like lateral, even backward shifts because
emotional.
They are tired of the position that they're in. And so like, what's cool about the journey that I'm on, like, you're helping so many people like that have no experience get in. I'm showing people like, dude, I've got 10 years worth of like sales experience, half of that, if not more, within medical/pharmaceutical. And I'm at the pinnacle of the pharmaceutical, and this is how difficult it is to find another job. Like,
100%.
And yes, I'm being picky, but because I've earned the right to be picky, compared to like, you know what, I really need a job right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and take that 115 because I really need a job. Like, I'm not going to do that. Those are the things that I'm I'm happy that, I guess, just like we're talking about, like, I'm privileged enough to be like, I don't need that opportunity. But who knows? Maybe if things are really shitty, especially with the recession and what's going on, I might have to like fucking start looking at some of those. But until then, like, I'm going to be picky and bougie.
Well, 100%. And that's always the conversation, right? Until you get to that point that you absolutely need it, then you go. And that's the conversation. So again, like, I always say this because I understand when we talk money that it can trigger people. It can get them very offended, these jerks, whatever it is. You know, but you get to your point where you can ask that. You know your worth. You've done it. You like for example, I always tell people when people are like, oh God, you make so much money, must be nice. And I'm like, I make my company a lot of money. Yeah, it's okay that I get a piece of that.
I always got that when I worked at Stryker, because I'm wearing my scrubs, and, you know, going into accounts, you're like, oh, you must make so much money. I'm like, please, I made like 80K maybe. And I'm like, okay, that is a lot of money to some people at the time, you know, but like, I took a pay cut to go to Stryker. And then 2, I'm like, just like you live it right now. I'm working like 16, 17 hours a day to make that 80K, compared to somebody that's making 80K and only working there 40 hours a week. So
100%.
It's just wild. Like, but again, like you were saying, people do sometimes get triggered, but that's the whole point. Like, talking about money should not trigger people. That's the problem. Like, you are listening to our podcast or watching our content and stuff because you want to get into this industry because you believe that there's money in it. We're being transparent about it. Like, I didn't make money at Stryker. Some people do. Some people make a shit ton of money at Stryker. I was not one of them. There's my proof. I have proof of hitting quota and everything. Don't believe everything until like you actually dig deeper and understand what the truth behind it is.
100%. And here's the thing, like, I just want to go on my little rant, because I like to go on my rants, but like, here's the thing about money. Like, if you're not comfortable with money, you need to expand your mindset. You are only worth what you believe. And I can say that as I watched it and I've lived it in my own life. When I only thought I was worth $42,000, I only did things that made me $42,000. And then it's like, hey, I want to make $100,000, $8,333. Then I started listening to people who did that. And then, okay, this is how you do it. Bam. Then I started talking to people who make 10, 15, 20 grand a month. Hey, what'd you guys do? How did you do that? Start expanding my mindset. Bam, got to that next level, right? Like, it's always just like, what's kind of the next level where you want to go. But if money triggers you, it's because usually it's the education And then usually you'll talk to every rich person. What poor people do, and again, I'm not get triggered, that's fine. Poor people demonize money because it's like, we'll never have it. So I don't want to be, I literally hear this all the time. I don't want to make a lot of money because I'll be an asshole. I don't want to be an asshole. Sorry. You're telling me that some of the people who donate billions of dollars and millions of dollars and help this world are just assholes because no, it's because people have such a negative mindset, and all money does, it brings out who you are. So for example, if you're a jerk, you're a bigger jerk with more money. If you're nice, you're nicer with more money. You have more to give to people, right? And that's the conversation. But I always do that because I know because I say this to people on the phone and it can trigger them. I'm like, you make 60 grand, you got a 60 grand mindset. There's a difference. The difference between somebody who's making 60,000 and 150,000 mindset. Difference between making 150 to 300 to 500 to a million mindset. Million. And again, there's opportunities that have to come, but you just think differently.
Yeah.
And that's what people have to start unlocking. So again, like we talk about, like 3 years ago, 50 grand was like, oh my God, so much money to me. Now I'm like, my God, like a bonus check should minimally be 50 grand, right? Like to go do stuff. And that's just the conversations. And again, so I know I say that and some people can get really triggered, but I say this too, so anyone who gets mad at my sister lived off welfare. Brother lives paycheck to paycheck. Mom has no retirement. I make more money in a whole year than my whole family combined. I come from the roots. I moved out here with $1,200 to my name. I lived off $30 a week. I had to put groceries back when I first moved out here because I didn't have enough money. I couldn't take anybody out on a date because I couldn't afford it. I've done it. I've lived it. I've literally been at the broke nothing to 4 years later. You're hearing our conversation and it's different. And then again, 27 and in 30s, right? We're only getting started. So I just always put that when we talk about money because I know it can be triggering. I get it in the hospital all the time, but it's also like, I just want to be straight up. I get it from a nurse or scrub tech and I'm like, you fucking chose this career. You're the one sitting on your goddamn phone and you do bare minimum. And guess what? Anybody can do your job. We can teach literal monkeys to hand equipment.
I just want to be sterile, but you could do it.
Yeah, 100%. Right, but I get so passionate about it because that's the number one thing. And the three words I hate the most must be nice. That's a cop out because you don't want to put in more work. You're lazy and stuff. I literally just talked to a scrub tech the other day. She's like, "Wow, you work a lot," and they're like making comments. "Oh, I wish I had more money." And then I was like, yeah, I probably work 60 to 100 hours some week. Oh, God, I would never do that.
There you go.
That's why you're never going to have. There you go. Then be happy with your $53,000 and shut up.
It's just it's just like the people that, hate on us whenever they just, I just don't understand. I don't get it. There's always going to be haters, but it's the people that will hate and they'll just say random things like, oh, yeah, you're doing that during the last guy. You're doing your podcast during the day must be nice. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, literally, it's 11 p.m. right now. And like, this is and this is because I enjoy doing it. Like, it's fun. Will it make me money? Maybe at some point. But you know what? Like, it's what I like to do. It's
all day. And let's just touch on that because I get so passionate about that. You want to know what money is? Because I talk to my millionaires all the time. You want to know what money is? It's a transfer of value. When you give someone more value, they pay you more money. Guess what? Entertainment, singers, they sell out arenas, giving value for how they look. Models, how they look, people pay for that, right? Like whatever it is, it's just a transfer of value. It's that, and then also skills. So like with what you're teaching here, Peter, like what you're giving is the value that people like. It's what you and I get messages about. Thank you so much. Been looking for this stuff. Nobody opens it up. I've talked to literally 50 reps on the phone and they're all like in a box and they don't open it up and you're just straight shooters with me. There's value in that.
It's,
and that's where like I always laugh, especially the reps that will comment on here or they'll slide in my DMs and tell us to shut up or who are you or whatever. You're just mad you're not doing it. And you're mad that you've been in it for 12 years and you decided not to do it. And now you see somebody who is doing it and now they're having some success and then they get, like it's just jealous.
I'm so like, dude, I'm glad I found somebody like you that's open and transparent of the things that are happening because the bubble that people like to just place, not only like medical device and pharmaceutical in, but like most other industries, like people don't like to open up and tell somebody else what they earn. I found like I stumbled across some. I think they're called Transparency Street or something like that, and it's like it's either an Instagram or a TikTok, and like this girl literally just goes up to people and asks how much they make, and it's awesome. And it took me a long time going through multiple of her videos before I found like three people that said they made over 100K, and I was just like mind blown. Like they would engineer 72,000. I'm like, dude, you went to so much school, and as an engineer, you're still not even a professional. You still have to go get your professional engineering license. Like all of these degrees that require you to do more, and you could easily just get into like a sales job like you and I have and go make.
You could be an associate and make 100 grand. The girl like I was talking on my course, she's literally getting an interview for 95 plus as an associate.
Dude, so let's transition because like right now as I am going through it, like you and I talk about it all the time. It's networking. Today I applied for 6 med tech opportunities. During that time, I was also researching them and then going through my LinkedIn, adding as many people as I can to get to understand the company. And these companies have less than 25 people, have less than 50. So it's kind of difficult too to even get information from people that are within the organization because they're extremely busy. But what's wild is I fucked up and I took my foot off the gas when I really thought that I had some opportunities. Like I thought they were in the bag, man. And that was really what hindered me, was the fact that I stopped networking. Like, so when those things fell through, it was almost like I was starting back from square one. I wasn't really, because of who I am and like the connections that I have, but that's what ended up happening. And I'm showing people that the experience that I have is still extremely difficult to make things move. Now, people that don't have any experience, if you guys are unaware, Jacob has finally we've been talking about this like behind closed doors for a little while now, but he's finally released his course. He did a soft release where he was only allowing so many people to get in. But let's talk about it now, because I cannot believe, like, dude, we were talking about this like 2 months ago and you hadn't even released it yet. I want you to let everybody know when you released it and how you already have a success story.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, man. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. You know, I wasn't even like planning, like you and I talked about, to make a course, and then I just got so many people reaching out to me about, hey, you know, I've helped at this point over 300 people break into medical device sales without sales experience, with sales experience, right? Boat sales, yoga teachers, personal trainers, bartenders, waitresses,
for
like
free,
all the
like
above.
during your fucking free time.
All the time, 100%. And I literally have all the screenshots. I have everything, Stryker, Johnson & Johnson, Medtronic, everything you can think of. And so, you know, it was that. And then, like you've talked about, there's an organization that people go to and they pay $20,000+. And I was getting calls every week of people crying because they've been out for 3 months. Them and none of their teammates or classmates have jobs. And it just, again, like I talk about, it infuriates me for the fact of I moved out here with no money. I know what it's like to not have money, to spend money on like stuff that you want.
Imagine having to try to take out a loan for that. You know, like
the people I talk to,
and it's not a small loan; it's a fucking big loan.
No, and it's something they're going to pay over, and like it makes me very frustrated because, you know, just how stuff run. I could ramble on about that as well. So again, yes, I wanted to make something that I know I get people hired. I know I can do it, and so I did a soft launch, got everything professionally done. There's modules. It's all a self-paced course that you do it at your own time. But it's 9 modules. It's going into the really deep dive understanding so you guys can get everything that you need to know. I did a really soft launch in June where I literally just talked about it on my podcast and my YouTube. I only accept 5 people. That's it. Because again, I'm getting people hired. I don't mess around. Like, this isn't like a huge moneymaker for me that's going to go. It's just I want people to get the best results, and I can give it to them. And we do bi-weekly phone calls. Eventually, it will be weekly calls. I coach people. I literally was on a phone with one of my girls tonight for 40 minutes. She's 23 years old, just graduated college, and she's getting interviewed for a position that is a junior sales rep with Stryker, and it pays very well. You know what I mean? So like, it's having those conversations. But I maxed that out. 5 people. It went in that first June session. I just opened up the July. We've already filled a couple spots with July. So it's been fun. It's been fun to see. But like you said, Pierre, just today, just got a call or I got a text. one of our girls who just got in. She literally has been in for 3 weeks. She was a former medical medical student. She went to med school, and she decided it wasn't for her. Dropped out. Didn't really know where to start. Got into the course. Within 3 weeks, she just got a job with a top company, which has been awesome. It's cool to see. And again, when she got in, she really didn't know what this was. And so being able to see her go through the course, see her learn, ask the questions, go through the interview process, it's awesome. And then see the community, the people in my community, they're all in the same boats. They're all trying to do stuff. What are you seeing? And we make that community so people can be with it. I got people who just started yesterday to people who are 4 interviews in, right? They're going through interviews with 4 different companies. I literally just got 2 people in. They literally had not thought about medical device sales. They reached out to me. They thought about it. They got into the course. Within 2 weeks, they both have 2 interviews.
See,
both of them have 2 interviews with companies. And for me, that's what gets really exciting because, again, they're not small companies. They're the top names. Medtronic, Stryker, Johnson & Johnson, Smith & Nephew. Like, that's what we do. And to be able to have it. And so the one girl I know, I'm going to get a text in a week with Medtronic. I know that's going to land 100% because I actually know one of the people that she interviewed with. And I got a text that someone's a very far front runner. And so I kind of, have some insight in there. Don't
even play with me. Don't play with me here. Are you going to double dip? Did she put you down as a reference?
No. So you want to know what the funny part is? After he texted me that, I don't think she did. So we'll see. I was like, man, I could have, like you said, could have double dipped. But that's the thing is just being able to see it, but having that talk and seeing all the success already. I already know that it's helping people. But like for me, I've talked to 2 people in the last 2 days. One guy's been trying for 2 months, hasn't even got a message back, hasn't got an interview. And I'm like, and he's a personal trainer. And then he's asking my advice. Hey, what do you think I should do? Do you think I should go get ADP? And I'm like, who the fuck are you talking to, man? Like, what do you think my advice was? He literally said, just fucking grind and go for it because you did it and you could do it. And I was like, yeah, what do you like? I'm not going to change my story for you. Like, that's what you can do. It's how you tell your story. But again, like I tell people, this isn't a financial investment. I'm not charging $20,000, but I am charging an investment for several reasons. One, it was not cheap to put everything together. Like, this was a financial investment for me to help everybody. But number 2, it's my time. Like I told you guys, I spend hours a day working on this, getting this course even better, getting on interviews, doing interview preps with people, doing biweekly calls. So it is a lot of time. And then it's also just for me being able to continue to bring in the best because we're already getting people hired. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But the last part where I kind of just blanked for a second, but where it is, it's also the commitment for you. Just talked to a kid today. I kind of want to do it, but I kind of won't. And I straight up said to him on the phone, people who come in my course will crush your life because they are all in. The money that they spent, they have to be all in because they're not going to just throw this money away compared to you're like, I'll see if it happens. It's never going to happen because guess what? My people are making it happen while you're waiting. Right. And so that's where I get super passionate because I know it is. And then even just why we're on it, because it was a soft launch, it's gone through this first month. It already had success. We already got people hired. We're going through interview process with more people. It's fun. But this month, it just went up another $1,000. Next month will be another 1,000. It's going to just continue to grow because I don't want to build something that has 100 people a month.
Yeah. Because
that's not my goal.
You want to put your hands on it. Like it's not one of those where once it gets to a certain point and it gets so large that you're not even communicating with people anymore, it becomes almost like, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I just like you, we all have 24 hours in a day. And like, I increased like my one-on-one like consulting sessions because it just got to the point to where, and what's funny is like what I charge for the time is not even how much I make in that time. So I'm literally taking time out of my day and losing money because I'm helping you, but I love the stories, like there was a guy that I talked to that lives in Germany, got hired on by Stryker. We spent time on the phone, coached him through his interview process. And it's exciting. Like that is so cool. It's so like what's the word? Not grativating. I can't. It is so satisfying that like it, but you just feel it like in your heart. Like it's so cool that these people took the time to invest within themselves, which is the whole purpose of the cost of the course. Like if it was something cheap, And I've done it myself. Like I've done it trying to like find a cheap way to get my resume to look better or something. Like if you don't commit to it and it's cheap enough that you don't care that you lost the money, you're not going to commit. And then what happens? The person blames you for not getting the job.
All So that's why so people who got it, I vet them. I don't allow, like I said, I only let 5 people in. I'm not just taking anybody because this isn't, like I tell people, it's not a course that you're going to pay money and you just got a job. That's not unrealistic. You're going to do the work, but I'm going to show you step by step how to get in, and we're going to crush it. And that's what's happened, right? And like, but I handpick the people that like they get told on the Zoom call, hey, I would allow you in on this if you would like it. Otherwise, I say, hey, appreciate you reaching out. I just don't think this is a great fit, because I don't allow just anybody, because like you said, I'm not trying to get headaches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to get lazy people who aren't going to do it, that are going to come back 3 months later and be like, you suck. Like I didn't do it. I want my money back, because I don't. I know that it works. I've gotten hundreds of people. I know it's self-proven. I still do it. I'm getting top final interviews with companies that want 5 years experience, and I don't have that. I got under 2. I know it works, right? So like that's the whole conversation with it. But yeah, like that's been the fun part with the course, is going with it. But like you said, I am growing it, but I want to make sure, because this is why I say I care about my people. It's why I got on a 40-minute phone call tonight at 8:00 at night. It's why I get up at 6 a.m. I'm getting a text. I'm on a call with one of my students. I'm walking them through, hey, I got an interview process. What do you think? I get to eat. Like I'm here because if you're investing in me, I'm going to invest right back in you. I'm getting you a job. That's what you paid me. But the thing I do want to say is, it's always so funny. I just said it on my Instagram. It's so funny to me, I'll put the price, and if someone says it's too expensive, I'm like, hey, it's not going to be a great fit because you don't see the value in it. Because what I just told you, the price is, it's so small for the fact of the first job you get, it's going to be minimum a 30x return. Minimum. Yeah. It's going to be 30 to 50x return. I can promise you're going to get the job, and you'll probably do it within under 2 months to 3 months. And if you would have done it by yourself, it probably would have been way over a year, because you don't know how to answer the question. You don't know that they're going to ask you how you have no sales experience. We have someone from ADP that has great experience. Why would we hire you over them? You don't know how to answer that. And if you do, and I always tell people, you think you do until they ask you that in the interview. It's easy to say that on the treadmill. What do you have when 3 managers are just blasting you with questions, right? And that's what we teach. I teach people how to get confident. I teach people what the questions are going to be. I teach the people how to answer them. I literally am like, what's your life? Bam. This is what you say. Bam. Right? Like we take the guesswork out of it, because I already know what's coming. And so that's why, like for me, I'm like, you want to make this your career, and you're not willing to pay under $10,000 to make it your career, when you're going to make 6 figures easy. And if you stay in this career for more than 10 years, you guarantee you should at least make $1 million in 10 years over that 10-year span. You know what I mean? And so that's just the conversation I have in that course.
Yeah. And I mean, if they've got that small mindset, just what we talk about, they don't belong. It's not like I'm not being rude when I say that either. Like I hate, you and I have talked about it so many times. I hate when people want to waste my time. Like when they send me a message and ask me something, like they found me on YouTube and they watched like one video, and now they've got like 30 questions and they want to come and ask me all these 30 questions. I get that you're not going to go through all my content to go watch all that stuff, but 100%. Come in a little bit more prepared than like these huge open-ended questions that I have no response to. Like, how am I supposed to respond to that without spending an hour talking to you?
And that's the problem. But like those kind of people, because you and I know this, right? And I just I was on an interview with a guy who does like careers, and he asked me, he's like, I think I can do it in 10 minutes. And I've said this on my podcast. You and I have joked about it. Within a minute, I know if a person's going to be in this career or not. I know if they're going to crush it. And now the funny thing is, everyone who reaches out within 30 seconds, hey, so you said if they're going to break in, am I going to break? I'm like, no. Like if you're asking, okay, let's have a real talk, right? Because you're unconfident in yourself. That never went through my mind. I literally told people, I'm going to break in this industry. I just need one person to take a shot on me. That's the difference, is the confidence, right? And that's why like my course, that's why I love my course, because you guys hear this, because we've been going for 45 minutes. If you don't like how I talk, you're not going to do anything with me. You're going to be like, Jacob's a jerk, and you do that. And I say this all the time on my podcast. Again, not trying to be mean. I came from nothing. I've lived it. I had people who had to like just say it, because it's why I just had a 40-minute talk with my girl who I'm helping. Sometimes you just need somebody to not sugarcoat shit for you. And guess what I don't do? I'm not here to sugarcoat and make your feelings be like, oh my God, oh, that was amazing. And then you get no job. I'm like, hey, you sucked right there. Let's fix it so you get the next job.
Yeah.
Right. And like people sometimes don't like that. And I'm like, hey, that's fine. Guess what? You're probably going to suck in sales. You know, like how I talk is, again, you and I have done it. We've performed. We're not bad salespeople. Right. And it's like we get people prepared for it. So again, I always say this. I'm not out there being jerks to people. Like I'm really nice, but my buddy gives me crap about this all the time. The number one thing I say, I'm going to challenge you on that. Because a lot of times, especially people who don't have experience, they tell me some bull crap that they just thought up in their mind, or one rep told me. I literally just had a girl, just so you guys all know, literally had a girl tell me, yeah, I talked to a couple reps and they just said there's no jobs available. Oh, okay. So you just told me throughout the whole United States where there's, what was it? I think 6 million jobs open and 8 million people unemployed. There's not one job for you. I was like, those reps, let me promise you, they weren't top 10 performers, were they? I don't know. I said, no, they weren't. Because guess what? There was no job when I was looking for it either. I just went and found one. There's no, when you get added on, guess what? When I get a deal that's like, hey, your quota just got doubled, or hey, you need to go make another $500,000, it's not there. Guess what? That's my job to go find the $500,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, that's the conversation I have with these people. And sometimes, you know, you need the kick in the butt. And that's why I'm here. I'm gonna push you, but like a good coach, I'm gonna push on you. And then when I see it's a little too much, we're going to bring it down. We're going to love on you. We're going to make sure you got it. But I also, like, I just had a call my buddy, just one of the students I had. He literally was like, you called me at the right moment. Because in 3 days, I would have been discouraged. And I already knew that from the text message he said. And I said, hey, man, I got to call you out on some of your crap because you're starting from the back of the line. You're trying to go for these jobs posted already. And you and I already talked about, you don't have sales experience. So stop going for the jobs that are posted that are looking for sales experience. You need to go make relationships before that ever happened.
Yeah.
And now you're at the front of the line when they start opening jobs instead of you're trying to be in the back and try to run. And then you're going to be discouraged because you haven't got 3 jobs. Well, no kidding. Because you're starting in the back. Well, you know that. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And he's like, you called me at the right moment because like in 3 days, I probably would have been really discouraged.
I mean, that is the problem. Like, and I'll reiterate it again, because I took my foot off the gas pedal. That was me. Like, I'm here, and the problem is I'm networking with people at companies before I even see a job opening, because that's what you need to fucking do. And then I'm behind,
Preach.
but then I'm behind the pack when I see an opening, and then I'm trying to network for it. But again, the beauty is networking, because just because that job posted, I'm not going to go apply for it. I'm going to go hit up Jacob and be like, yo, Jacob, any chance I can chat with you for a minute about this open opportunity? If he's like, no, fucking kick rocks. All right, I'm on to the next person. But I'm not on to the next person, because I've already, not including Jacob, have messaged probably 10 other people with that exact same job title, hoping that one of them is like, yeah, what's up, dude? What can I do for you? And then I'm like, let's have a conversation. At the end of the conversation, I'm like, can I help you possibly make money? Can I go ahead and apply for this job and put you down as a reference? Who doesn't want some free money? Like, yeah, that you don't know me, but we just had a conversation, and hopefully I sold myself enough that I will put the name on you.
That's one thing I want to say. Like, I always tell people, you don't ask for a job, but guess what? If you build a relationship, even if it's 10 minutes, they like you enough. Hey, yeah, I'll pass you to my manager. That's what this world is. That's why I tell people, like, it's building that relationship, whether it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes or months, but you can build rapport with somebody right away. Like, I just say this because I think about you and me, man. First time you and me got on a phone call, I think it was like 30, 40 minutes. Like, we just hit it off right away, and we're just able to like chat it up, right? Like, you can build rapport real fast, and you can tell, hey, I like this person. Yeah. Like, go ahead. And then again, hey, can I just put you as a reference? If I get in, you make money off me. Yeah, man, you sound great. I think you got it, right? But like we talked about, people who have done this, they know, right? Talk with Pierre. Oh, you performed at 140%. Oh, you must not suck.
Yeah.
You know?
No, exactly. And so it's one of those where you always feel like people should know this, but they don't. And that is why, again, I reiterate, like, for everybody that has like no experience, like, consider putting some effort within yourself by taking a course like this, because the thing about it is you think that you know how to do the things that we're talking about, and you might know even, let's say, 50% of it. But the problem is, I've even run into it. This is an experienced sales rep, like doing these things. If you don't have somebody reminding you the things that you have to do, which is even myself, I fucking have, I've been in the middle of shooting a video talking about what happened, and I go, I'm a fucking moron. Like, I should have done this, and here I am talking to you guys, telling you that I should have done like what you should be doing, and I didn't do it. And it's one of those things that if you have like an account buddy, that kind of helps you through that process, which is what Jacob would be. It's those things that really kind of take you to that next level. Because to be honest, like if you have a full-time job, I don't know, and like it would be one of these where I would need somebody like you, because I've talked about it on my videos. I don't know how somebody that has a full-time job, and good luck to you, Jacob, for people that have like a fucking desk job that hits you up and they're like, dude, I need to get in. Like, with the amount of interviews and stuff that I've done, but just the amount of time that I've put into it, like I am not somebody that I am technically, I have a job, but I don't. So like literally the 40 hours a week, I get to focus on looking for a job.
Yep.
And I'm somebody that I don't do things like half-ass. And I can't even like, I love to go do other stuff. I love to go shoot my guns. I love to go like just out and about and do whatever. I love wakeboarding, all these things. I can't go enjoy it because I know that there's a looming force above me that I technically don't have a job as of September 15th. And so I sit down and I am focused on trying to get a job. And here I am still trying to get one. So for people that are like, that could get discouraged within your plan, I am somebody that has 10 years worth of sales experience. I am deep into, when did I find out? June 15th? Fuck, when did I find out? I don't remember when I found out, but it's at least been like 45 days and I still don't have another job. So those are the things like, and I'm doing this full time. Like, this is not something simple that you can just pretend you go out there and you send a couple of feelers and you're going to get a job. Sometimes you do, but that is not all the time.
Yeah, and the one thing I just want to say, I smile because two of my people have desk jobs, and one of them is going through 3 interviews right now, and the other one just started last week, and she's one of the people who have 2 interviews set up. You know,
power
like,
to them.
She's been doing it
how to like not get caught. You know.
Yeah. Well, I tell people, because like I did, like, you know, yes, there was COVID, but I was still personal training on the side when I was doing this, and I'm like, I made a TikTok of the other day. Someone called me and they're like, they're literally a personal trainer, and they're like, man, it's hard, and I'm like, you're talking to the wrong dude. I chewed him out so bad. I'm like, do you watch any of my videos? He's like, yeah, I watched it all. I was like, I know how hard it is, man. I can documented the whole journey. Like, come on. And so like I do that, but like just to your point, you think you know it because you heard our podcast. Like, you just straight up. Like, that's not me being a jerk. It's just straight up. People tell me all the time, yeah, I heard you say this. Yeah, but then like every single person I've ever been like, hey, so what do you say when you have no sales experience? And they say, because this happened to me. And what do you say when they say, yeah, we have a candidate who's from ADP, who's a President Club winner, who's made hundreds of thousands of dollars, is very great at sales. Why would we hire you when we could hire them? I've said that to every person on the phone, every single person. No answer. Guess what? You're going to hear this podcast. You're going to think you have an answer. Guess what? I'll ask you and you think you have a good one. And I'll be like, yeah, that was probably subpar, because I already know what they're thinking. And guess what? That's just one example of one question they're going to ask you. Mm-hmm. You think you go to the final interview? Like, I talk about it all the time. My final interview, do you think for an hour it was just like butterflies and rainbows? And I'm like, no, they're about to give me a job that pays a lot of money, and I'm going out against a guy who has 10 years experience. I got punched in the face for an hour. I've lived it. So again, I just talked about it on my Instagram, but that's the value of a course. I've been it. I've lived it. You've lived it. We know it. But also, like, even myself, like we talked about, I'll say it right now. I've been going through the interview process. I'm in the finals. I'm like, I live it all the time while I'm still working a full-time job, while I'm still training on the side, while I'm still running a full online business. Like, I get busyness, people, but like, you want something, you're good at it, you make it done. Like, that's the thing. But that's when you're buying a course, you're saving time, you're saving money. It's no different than for me. When I wanted to get better at something, I paid a coach $10,000. Guess what? Already returned it, already saving money, already like having it. And he just saved me years because I was able to go to someone who did it, paid them. And that's why I just got a girl hired within 3 weeks. She would have done it on her own. 6 months
I
minimum.
mean, it's those things when you start thinking, because everybody, especially people that find us, they already know about online communities, so they already know that people have courses. So if you're already considering something like this, and you're also considering, like, let's say medical sales college, the biggest difference between the two that I've come to understand from talking to people that have done that course and then talking to you is the fact that while at medical sales college, you're going to get to play with one of these and you're going to get to do what I've done, which is literally put those screws and plates onto one of these. That's cool and all, but you will do that at the fucking job. They will fucking train you how to do that. But what they're not going to train you on is everything that this guy is going to be doing, in the sense of all of the coaching that you need to actually get through these interview processes. I don't know how many calls he's had. I've had less, and it's been a ton of them, of trying to coach somebody, and it takes time, it takes patience. You're not going to get that in a course like this, because what they believe that they're showing you, and trust me, I thought originally, how cool would it be to go and be taught these things so that whenever you get into the interview process, you can have this conversation. Maybe 1% of those interviews, they care about that experience. Everything else really cares about how you're representing yourself within the interview process, because all of this is taught. This is all taught.
I say this all the time real quick is, first off, they show you how to screw a hip. Guess what? You're never screwing a hip. You can't touch the patient. It's illegal. So take that, right? Like, that's the number one thing I say to everybody in medical sales college. Number two, I get, like you said, I get people call me crying. Like, they go, they do their courses, and then nobody's getting, oh, we can make you a profile. Let me just make this clear. You want to know what the top companies aren't doing? Going to a fucking job board and looking for people to hire. They're having the best candidates from ADP, Centos, everybody making hundreds of thousands of dollars reach out to them because they have what they want, right? So I always just make sure to, like, make that clear. And the last thing I'll say, because this is always my nail in the coffin, just go to the front page. It says 97% job placement. It does not say 97% job placement in medical device sales. And I just leave it at that, because
if it
go
was,
talk to people who
if
graduated.
it was med device, then that's where it would be. Like, you would advertise the hell out of that.
And straight up, let's just be real. This is, because I talk to people who've talked to me who got in this industry, and go talk to people who've just talked to reps, just talk to random reps, and what their opinion is. Because I've had the conversation, and there's a stigma. That's all I'm going to say. People think it's going to help them, and a lot of times it hurts them.
I mean, I could see why 100%.
Let me tell you why real quick. I got a girl hired. One of my best friends, she was on the podcast, just hired a girl from medical sales college. The girl lasted 3 weeks, quit because it was too hard. The girl just spent $20,000 and said it was too fucking hard. That's the stigma on medical sales college. And I'll just be straight up. Like, I don't like try to bash, but the stigma in the industry, this isn't me about my course. I don't care if you take my course, do your thing. The stigma in the industry, it's a bunch of spoiled brats who go spend money and now they're going. Because the literal conversations that happen in those rooms is kids saying, how many jobs do you think we're good? Who do you think you're going to give us a job? Let me tell you, 0. Because guess what? When you got to go work a 16-hour day and you get fucking yelled at, you're going to quit. And that's what these do. Because people will be like, Mommy and Daddy, I just want to go make $70,000. And I can go work a desk job and make 52 grand. You know what happens? That doesn't happen in med device sales. You're going to work your fucking ass off.
Yeah.
Like, just being straight frank. And if you don't want that, don't do it. And people, and let me just, last thing is medical sales college. It's people who don't know what they're doing. They haven't done research. They don't talk to anybody in the industry that goes off about it. And then the last thing with it is, it's just, I'm going to go pay money because I don't know what else to do. A lot of them college students, it's, I don't know what to do. Mom and dad said I can make a lot of money in medical sales college. So mommy and daddy just paid $20,000 for me to go.
It's so true. It's one of those where, I mean, and I don't think you're going to get, I've never been to medical sales college, so I can't say. I did have a conversation with one of them. The conversation went well. It was just one of those where the information that I got from it sounded just like you have said before, like butterflies and rainbows. It's nice. Yes, they do like a sales cycle and different things like that. I just don't. I thought originally it would be cool to have that knowledge. And I think that that's the correct answer. It is cool to understand what biologics are. It is cool to understand what countersinking and cannulated screws and what those things are. But again, if you have watched any of his content, if you watched any of mine, like, all you got to go do is do research yourself. Like, go to the company website for whatever position you're going to apply for and look at the product.
For free, network with a rep.
Yeah.
Network with a biologics rep, and they'll tell you everything you need to know for 15 minutes and free. You want to learn anatomy? Get an anatomy book for under $300. Like, and this is the last thing I want to just say with this, because I've said it like 4 times on my own podcast in the last 4 weeks. The last thing is, nobody cares about your experience.
Yep.
Nobody gives a crap, especially when you're coming in to be an associate. Like, this is why I get so passionate. You want to know why? Because nobody was going to get somebody who worked as hard. Nobody was going to get somebody who was as passionate. Nobody was going to get somebody who could build relationships, that was going to go through all the bullshit to do what I ring that. Jacob, you're not finding another Jacob. And I say that to every one of my candidates. Take your past away. I don't give a crap about your past. Who are they getting when they hire you? And that's what everybody fails at. Everybody fails that they have this on their resume. Nobody gives a shit. Are you going to wake up at 4 a.m., drive 2 hours, go do an in-service, do 14 hours worth of a day, run a tray, be there for the next day? That's what they're looking for. And that's the stuff you can't teach. And that's what I get so passionate about, as you can tell, because most people are lazy and we paint this picture that's not real. And I make sure I'll help anybody get into this. It's changed my life financially. It's changed my life forever, but I don't sugarcoat it because it's just the truth. And again, if everybody you talk to who has real success, they don't sugarcoat stuff either.
If you're still listening to this podcast right now, you better smash a fucking like, subscribe after that, because if you're not fired up after listening to something like that, like it's 100% accurate when it comes to people that, like, it's different for people that are in my shoes, because I have experience and you're going for a much higher role. When you are coming in as an associate, 100% accurate, you don't need fucking anything. Like, you don't need a background in sales. You don't need a background in medical terminology, in anything. They need somebody that has what you just brought, which is drive and fire, because it is a grunt role. You are going to be pushing yourself day in and day out, and you aren't the only person pushing you. Your senior reps are pushing you, management's pushing you, and exactly to the point of the person that quit after 3 weeks. How long can you handle that for? Like, if you're not excited about that, and that's the whole purpose of like the transparency from us, is if you're not excited about the scariness of what that is, this isn't the role that you need to get into. You can go be an associate somewhere else in a different field, but like getting into these very like, there, because I'm sure you've talked about it too, there are not a lot of associate roles outside of ortho, spine, sports medicine, different things like that, like things that require a lot of time and a lot of picking up sets and dropping off. Beyond like these scopes, there's not a lot of associates when it comes to like endoscopy, or when it comes to pharmaceutical. You're not finding a pharmaceutical associate, you know, like, so those jobs, they have associates because the job is hard. It is grunt work. And that's why, like, and you want to get into the industry. That's how you're getting in.
Well, and this is the thing I'll end this with. You want to make what the top 10% of Americans make. And you think you're going to just fucking sit on your butt and do nothing. Right? Like, that's my talk, because again, I've had nothing. Literally, I've had where I looked at my bank account and I have $60 in it. Right? And I know how hard I work. That's why I can talk about money. That's why I can be fully transparent, because I've literally been broke and had nothing. Can't go out. But when you work your butt off and you get to a point, you can get wherever. But that's the conversation, is you're going to work. You're trying to be in the top 10%. You're going to come in, you're trying to make 150, 300 grand, 500 grand. You think you're just going to sit on your couch and do that? No, that's what excites you. That's what it gets it, because guess what? It's not the money. It's not the thing. It's the opportunity of the money to change your life forever. Mm-hmm. That's what's the exciting part.
Now I will say, had I known, and I will find out if I do end up getting into med tech, and if this man gets into med tech, we might change our stories drastically, because I was talking with a recruiter. And if you guys are obviously still listening at this point, then maybe you're going to get like the best nugget in the world, which is, if you don't have any sales experience and you're thinking about sales, think about tech. Because the recruiter that I was talking to, looking through my resume and everything, they were like, dude, if you would have just started your career in tech right now at this point, we wouldn't be talking about like 200 to 250K on track earnings. we would be talking about like, where are you going to find your next half a mil opportunity? And
Yep.
that really has opened my eyes as to why I'm looking at medtech, which I'm sure is why you're looking at it too. And it'll,
And with startup stock options and trying to get bought out, right? Like I know guys who've made $1 million overnight.
and the biggest, but like that is, we can end it here and we can talk about this next time, like, and even
Yep.
possibly more if like I get into the field. Like the scary thing for me though is, do I want an office job? Because I completely enjoy, and those are the two. That's the double edged sword of it. Is I'm a sociable person. I enjoy getting out and creating those relationships. If it makes me 100K less because I get to go do that, that is something that I would consider why I wouldn't take the job. Because yeah,
Yep.
maybe I'm going to make $100,000 less than somebody that's in tech, but I'm enjoying my life a little bit more because I get to go
But you're
do it.
filling your cup.
Mhm. There you go.
Yep.
Fill in the
100%.
cup because it's not. I forget who said this. It was a girl. I wish I could remember. I will if I remember. I will link it below. But she said peace over profits. And so you really have to decide, like, what is it that you want more? Do you want more peace in your life or do you want more profits? And I feel like when you do look at tech as an opportunity, and I'm talking to the people that would start in as like the lowest of the low totem pole tech role, which would be like an associate role within medical device, your life is literally engulfed within your CRM, and your manager and his manager and their manager see everything that you do. Whereas in our field, there's a lot more autonomy to it where you are your own person. That's where I struggle. I'm like, do I want that oversight? Do I want Big Brother to know everything that I do?
100%. And that's the last thing I know I've said it a couple times, but like I talk about this all the time, but like the reason you can talk about money is because like when you don't value money, like yes, money makes the world go round, like you need it to like pay your bills, but like for me, I like I said, I still live very cheaply. I cannot work for the next couple of years. Like it's cool. Money's just it's an object, right? That's why I preach now, like after losing my best friend, happiness over money. Because guess what? When you're on your deathbed, when I watch there my buddy like take his last breath, you want to know the last thing on his mind or my mind? The amount of money. It's looking back at your life. And so like that's been like the biggest, clearest thing. If I'm not having fun, if I'm not enjoying it, if I'm not doing something that's making impact on other people, then why do it? Because you can go and do whatever you want and go make money. So it's always the passion. You'll make more money. And again, once you, like I've said this, and this is a very privileged place to be, what's another 50 grand to me? What's another 100 grand to me? Right? It's cool. Yes, like awesome. But guess what? Like, it's not going to change my life
Mm-hmm.
anymore. You know, like, okay, now I just literally, I say this all the time. If I just got another 50 to 100 grand, I just now have another 50 to 100 grand to invest.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, guys,
Or take another trip that I want.
I hope you all have enjoyed the return of Jacob and myself, Medical Sales Unfiltered. If you find yourself looking at trying to break into this industry and you haven't yet, please go check out my man's course, linked down below. And also, just reach out to him. It doesn't cost you anything to reach out, figure out, have a conversation with him, see if this is something that it is that you really want to do. Because either way, you're going to have to interview to get in. He's not just letting anybody in.
Yep. Yep. Like he said, reach out to me. I'm setting up Zoom calls with everybody that seems serious. And again, always just happy to go. And usually about 15 to 30 minutes. I just make sure that you guys are serious. We have a conversation. And I kind of vet you through that process. And we go over any questions that you have, any concerns. Happy to handle anything you got. So again, Pierre, I appreciate you plugging that. It truly means the world. But just glad to be back with you, man. This is always my fun. This is what I look back to. And again, if you guys are still listening, we're crazy idiots that just like to go off and, but some crazy idiots that have something going, I guess.
Right? No, it's fun stuff, man. So hopefully we can get this done back on the Monday train.
100%.
All right, homie. Everybody, we'll see you
later.
guys on the next episode.
Peace.